What's going on, everybody? Your man Eric Wilson here, Sports Arena this evening, and I am joined by my brother telling both sides of the story, Turning Point Podcast, and I'm gonna coin a phrase that he used to give me, a rabid Packers fan. The one, the only, I call him the hitman, Mr. Jake Rongholt. Jake, good evening, my brother. How are you? What's going on?
I'm as good as it gets right now after what happened yesterday at Lambeau Field. By the way, the key word is Lambeau Field, but yeah.
Let's talk about another Hall of Fame quarterback, future Hall of Fame quarterback, and that would be your
Yeah.
guy, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. Jake,
Mhm.
you know me. I am not in any way, shape, form, or fashion a Kirk Cousins fan. So when I saw this matchup, I knew in my mind, I knew in my heart, I knew in my spirit, Green Bay was not going to let me down yesterday. Aaron Jones having a stellar game. You know, you look at the guy that I still say he's coming along, but when he gets to be that elite wide receiver and Valdez Scantling, excuse me, he's going to be a kid to watch for. But what happened yesterday, like you said, in Lambeau?
It's the same old thing with this team. There is no defense. This defense can't stop a cold. They can't play the pass strong enough. They make too many mistakes. They get called for pass interference calls, holding calls, and they just continuously cost their team. I mean, this offense came out firing. They got 2 straight scoring drives, made it 14-7, and then 21 unanswered points. It's the Vikings, for crying out loud. 1-5. I don't care if they're 1-5. I don't care if you're winless. It's the Minnesota Vikings. This is your most hated rival, and you come out and you show up like that. This is the same team that had over 40 points on them in week 1 at their home, and then they come back over to Lambeau Field, and they basically take them to the back of the woodshed. Dalvin Cook, I mean, how do you not prep for this guy? This is their best weapon. This is a guy who has 11 total touchdowns. He leads the league in total touchdowns. 226 total scrimmage yards, 160 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns there, 1 on the air. I just don't understand. I'm telling you this right from when they lost to Tampa Bay, that 4-0 start was a mirage. This team does not want to rebuild correctly with a defense. This coaching staff let them down. I'm talking Mike Pettin, Jerry Gray, linebackers coach, defensive line coach. I don't care who you are. This coaching staff continuously let them down. Not to mention, if I hear one more person tell me that, they're very talented, Jake. Really, could you tell me what Dean Lowry did yesterday? Tyler Lancaster. Hey, how's Kenny Clark in that contract? He actually looks progressively worse. And then not to mention, where are the Smith brothers? This law firm has been shut down, closed up, and it's been pretty much a victim of this situation. I don't understand what is happening in Green Bay. Oh, wait, I do. Because this is exactly what they do. When they don't rebuild this defense, they go get a bunch of people that haven't played football in like 4 years, put them on the practice squad. Why is it that I'm seeing the Ravens go get Des Bryant? Why is it that I saw Quan Alexander going to trade today to the New Orleans Saints? Why am I seeing the Titans, after getting blasted by the Cincinnati Bengals, they go out and they go get Desmond King II out of LA? Why am I seeing that? And then I hear this. Oh, the Packers might possibly go get J.J. Watt. They might go get Will Fuller. You want to know what they're going to do? Nothing. Because what they are going to see is that after this season is done, they are actually going to be in the red for the first time because they don't have any fans at these games. So their profit margin right now is dropping, and they don't know what to do with this. This is the reason why they are a small market team that doesn't know what to do, except they got small market ideas instead of big market ideas. It's the same old thing, Eric, and it's going to continue on.
I honestly thought that when I go off on my team, I was probably one of the worst people in the world. But my brother, you as usual are taking it to a whole nother level. So I mean,
I can't, Eric, I can't sugarcoat what I saw when I continue seeing with this team in the last couple of years. I don't care if Matt LaFleur does have double-digit wins, the most since Vince Lombardi and all this kind of stuff. This is exactly the kind of thing that you should not be doing. You should not be losing to the Minnesota Vikings, who are 1-5 and a hated rival. And then not to mention, oh, good, they get to go fly over to San Francisco. Oh, and George Kittle's out for 8 weeks, and Jimmy Garoppolo's out for 6 weeks. And I guarantee you the Packers will lay an egg. They'll fall apart, and they'll lose again to Kyle Shanahan.
Wow. You're already predicting your team is going to have back-to-back losses?
Putrid. It's putrid. It's inexcusable. You cannot be saying right now as a Packer fan that this was only one big loss. No. This was a bad loss, and you basically made this way of having the Chicago Bears, of all teams who don't even have a quarterback, I might add. They're planning on going back to Mitchell Trubisky possibly, and right now they're one game out. And even if the Packers win the NFC North, they'll go into the playoffs and they'll do what they do. They'll game plan against that run defense. They'll run it right down their throats, and the Packers will be left with no Super Bowl.
Talking to my man.
Sugarcoat it. I can't do it.
Listen, and that's why I appreciate you. That's why I got mad respect for you, because you do keep it real with me. But I mean, this is your team, and you have to at least look at now. Okay, so let me take a page from your book. Let's look at the other side. Okay. Because for everything that you have said about Green Bay, you still have to realize the fact that you are in the driver's seat. You do know that your schedule is not one of the toughest schedules. And if Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, and the rest of this squad can just beat up defenses, which we've seen Rodgers do, a la not maybe a Todd Bowles defense, or in this case, like in regards to yesterday, a Mike Zimmer, I am still in the hope that Green Bay and Chicago will battle it out for this division. And that's what it will come down to. It will come down to that. Yes. But you have to give me some glimmer of hope here, because you're my Green Bay guy. So when you're coming at me and you're just spewing it at him, I'm like, well,
I'm not even yelling. I'm not even yelling. I'm not even like going off or going crazy. It's just what I'm used to watching. So,
but Jake, it's 2020. We got to turn the page here now.
Yes.
You know, listen, you do have a short week. You're heading to San Francisco, as you already alluded to. No George Kittle, no Jimmy Garoppolo. We've seen what Nick Mullins is capable of. But in my opinion, if there was ever a moment for the Green Bay Packers to take a short week to forget about the divisional loss, come back and light it up, because we know Aaron Rodgers, he's going home. He's from the Bay Area. He wanted to be a San Francisco 49er. And all the teams that slept on him, I think more than any team, he shows out when it comes to the San Francisco 49ers. You got to give me some glimmer of hope here, because I'm starting to reconsider my pick now.
I mean, reconsider it as soon as they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because
no, because Todd Bowles' defense, I'm sorry. I will stack Todd Bowles' defense this season with guys like Ndamukong Suh and JPP and Devin White, Levante David. I mean, I'm just telling you, I'm looking at that defense and saying, Todd Bowles, as much as I want there to be more diversity among head coaches, Todd Bowles, you are a defensive coordinator guru. Stick with that, because you are shutting down teams left and right. He takes your best punch in the first 15 minutes of the game, and in the next 45 minutes, he unleashes hell on offenses. So that's why I say to you, and shout out to my man, John Mizak, who's been chiming in this whole entire conversation. He's saying Shaq Barrett. Yes, Shaq Barrett as well. I'm just saying to you, Green Bay is going to go into the Bay Area and light up San Francisco on Thursday night. You got to give me that one, Jake.
I hope it actually does happen. But I don't trust them, because Kyle Shanahan is 3-0 in their last 3 games against the Packers. Back when he was an offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, he wasted away the Packers. And then last year, they were 2-0 against this team, because all you have to do is run this ball. I don't care if it's Jermichael Hasty. I don't care if it's Jerick McKinnon. Heck, you could go get Garrison Hurst out of retirement and put him out there for one night, and he could have himself a great game. This is exactly what happened. Dalvin Cook versus the Green Bay Packers yesterday. You got to be kidding me with this. The glimmer of hope is Aaron Rodgers. And I mean, if they get David Bakhtiari back, that'll be good. They'll get back Aaron Jones. That'll even be better. But Jamal Williams has been doing an admirable job right now as backup. So, I mean, that does help. But there's just been a lot of questions, especially with this play calling. The first quarter, the play calling was absolutely terrific. But there are tight ends and wide receivers that are dropping the football at the wrong time. And you can't be dropping the football. Equanimus St. Brown, you have been waiting for this moment, and all he did was drop it. Perfect throw by Aaron Rodgers, and that ball is falling right out of his hands. I couldn't believe it. And then there was a couple of times where I just kind of sat back and went, does this team have heart? Because I was telling you before we went on that I was going to bring us up between a fairy tale or a Halloween special. I seriously feel like I'm Charlie Brown right now. I have a ghost. I have a sheet over my head, and I am walking up to get candy, and instead I got a rock. And that's what's happening right now to Packer fans, because right now their heart is 2 sizes too small. I don't understand what is going on with this football team. I just don't. Every single year. And they always say, oh, it's the talent. Oh, it's the coaching. No, it's coaching. It's talent. It's guys that should not be on this team pass rushing. Dean Lowry yesterday, great example.
Okay.
He got a sack for the first time this year. The first time in 4 years, Dean Lowry actually showed something and made me realize, okay, maybe he is worth the $20 million for about 5 seconds. And then I watched him get pretty much ran over by the Vikings offensive line for the rest of the game. It's just a kind of question. Eric, your Eagles, let me give you a little tip here. Your Eagles actually have playmakers. You have Brandon Graham. You have Fletcher Cox. You have some of the best players on that front seven. Not to mention you went and got Darius Slay. You know what the Packers got right now? Guys who can't tackle. Because if you saw that Dalvin Cook play, that little screen off the right side, that left side, Cook ran it 50 yards for the touchdown. And all I saw was Packer players pretending they were Superman. It just, I don't understand what. See, I've said I don't understand a couple of times, but seriously, I feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone episode. I feel like I'm that guy in a Twilight Zone episode that is reliving the same game over and over again.
The definition of insanity.
I can't say it anymore.
The definition of insanity.
Go down a predictable path.
All right. Well, I'm going to leave it there because this is a new one for me, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just say, my brother Jake is typically he is a unfiltered, unbiased individual and can truly tell both sides. But clearly, the fandom in him has come out because
I'll give you both sides. All right, I'll help you here.
Sure.
Okay, I'll help you here. All right, I'll help you here. Devontae Adams has 7 touchdowns in his last 3 games. That's an amazing thing. If I hear one more person say that the Packers need to go get Will Fuller, I'm going to scream. They don't need a wide receiver when you got Devontae Adams, who has 7 touchdowns in 3 games. When you got Jamal Williams, who's a good pass-catching running back. When you got Aaron Jones coming back soon. And A.J. Dillon, unfortunately, tested positive for COVID-19, but he actually had a couple of good carries that made me go, you know what? This kid might be something. And I love the way Darius Shepard plays off the cross pattern. And Tunyon has actually done a good job as the tight end. There is talent. There's good coaching in here somewhere. But unfortunately, while Matt LaFleur is a very good offensive coach, the defensive coaching is such a mess right now. And I know they're good people, and I know they got great resumes. But when it comes to the Packers, it's like oil and it's like what do you call it? The oil and water right now.
They don't mix. All right, fair enough. We're going to leave it there.
Okay.
Jake, as always, appreciate your time, my man. Enjoy Monday Night Football. I'm going to be back later with the big dog, Alex and Mike. And you're welcome to join if you want to. We're just going to recap some of the games, not your game. We're going to talk about the rest of Sunday's football. And then, of course,
break, man. I needed this.
Okay, awesome. My man, Jake Rongholt, telling both sides of the story. Turning Point Podcast. When are you dropping your next article?
I did it actually on Pro Football Action. I did one on the fantasy winners and losers. I did a couple on Dalvin Cook. I did one on Dalvin Cook, and I also did one on a guy who was a winner last week, became a big loser this week. And we also had some inside information about Odell Beckham Jr. and his future at Cleveland, plus the latest on Jimmy Garoppolo and George Kittle right now. It's not good for San Francisco fans. They're trying everything they got here, man. But you know something? Sometimes when you lose stars like that, it's going to be tough to rebound.
Very true. Jake Rongholt, Turning Point Podcast, telling both sides of the story. Appreciate your time, brother. Your man, Eric Wilson. Hey, love you, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great night, everybody.
Yep.
See ya.